Woe to you who are rich. That's just so clear, and it is so easy to ignore or to soften it. That's what most people do. You just kind of look at that and you soften it, and the easiest way to do it is, of course, you just look at this and say, oh, yeah, I'm not rich, so this doesn't apply to me. Because then you can look at other people who you think are rich, and you say, oh, yes, see, those people, they better watch out, but you don't have to worry about it for yourself. I'm not sure when it happened to me that I realized that I had never met anybody who had ever described themselves as rich. I had met people who were doing well, but that's the kind of expression they would use. They would say, I'm doing fine, I'm comfortable. They use those kind of words. They would never describe themselves as rich. And again, I'm not sure how long ago it was that I kind of realized that, well, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm rich. I am rich. In a couple of different ways. Forget the money for a moment. I am rich in all sorts of, if you will, intangible ways. You know, I have a family. I have friends. I have talents, all sorts of things in which I am rich. Things I have that others do not. And that was helpful for me to realize that. But in terms of the money, yeah, it wasn't hard, and it didn't help that I found someone who was doing some statistics. And rich is always about comparing yourself to other people. And so you look around, it's easy enough to find plenty of people who got more money than you, and so I'm not rich, they must be rich. But if you want to do that, if you want to compare yourself to all of humanity in the world, there is a really good chance that everybody here, we are richer than 95% of all the rest of the world. And so you figure if you're in the top 5%, well, I don't know what words you want to use for that, but rich is a pretty good one. And indeed, you don't really have to have a whole lot of money to be in the top 1% globally. And so I came to the conclusion, oh my word, I'm rich. And so I better pay attention to this. Woe to you who are rich. And so I have been paying attention to it. And I think the only way to look at this is first to remember that Jesus isn't against people having money and possessions in general. It's not like he wants all his people to be in abject poverty. He wants all of us to be a good steward. That, I think, is the key to this. I don't think Jesus cares what our bank account is. He cares about what we do with it, that we would realize that all of it came from him. And when we get caught up in the idea of like, well, I worked hard and, my pension or my investments, all of that's because of my efforts, that we're just running real close to idol worship in ourselves, that we need to remember all that came from God, the talents and the abilities that we use to make that money, that all came from God. And so the question now is, okay, the Lord has given me this, some of us less, some of it more, but what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do? Are we going to be good stewards of it? And so if you and I are good stewards of it, in other words, we don't just sit and say, oh, as the thing, woe to you are rich, for you have received your comfort. You're comfortable now. And you and I are using our money just to make ourselves comfortable. Well, then I think Jesus would be kind of like questioning what we're doing. But if we look for opportunities and just literally keep asking ourselves, what is the best use of what I have? Whether that is money or whether that is intangibles. What is the best use of my talents? In my case, what's the best use of the fact that I can sing a little bit? If we keep asking that and keep striving for that, I don't think we'll ever run into the problems that Jesus was so concerned about. But we've got to work at it. And it starts with a realization. Because as long as people are going to, look at this passage and say, oh, I'm not rich, I don't have to care about this, then you'll never have the incentive to be a good steward. But I know last night when I opened this up, happens every time I read this passage in Luke. The thing that jumps out at me is, woe to you who are rich. And I just picture Jesus looking at me and saying, you need to be careful. You need to be really careful because you are rich. And it is so easy to slide down, to listen to the culture and slide down. And then woe to you because you don't want to be there. So I don't know about you, but it was a terrific reminder for me. I take this really seriously. Hope you do too.